All right, everybody, how you doing? It's Tuesday, January the 19th, 2021. Already the 19th day of this year. It's pretty incredible. All right, so right here we're looking at fifth period. It doesn't matter which class you're in. I'm basically going to give you information that is the same basically in your other classes. I wrote you a note right here. It says all work has been graded and entered into iNow. Right now, iNow is up to date for students that have turned their work in on time. Okay. For those students that don't turn their work in on time, your work will be graded, but it will be graded at my convenience when I have the opportunity to sit down and get it graded. So just throwing that out there, just letting you know that since it wasn't a huge issue for you to get the work done and turned in time, it's not a huge grieving issue of mine to hurry up and get it graded for you. It's like a individual once said that I had a great deal of respect for. A lack of preparedness on your behalf does not constitute an emergency on my behalf. In other words, since you didn't plan ahead and you didn't get your work done, I don't consider it a huge emergency to hurry up and get it graded. It'll get graded just at my time. All right. So what are some announcements that need to be made? Okay, let's go over here to the ClassWorks, and this is good for all the classes. This weekend, I graded Chapter 2, Lesson 1. You should have received an email for it on Sunday. You should have also received an email for warm-ups on Sunday. I graded both these two, and these are what are in iNow now, and your grades are up to date. So what is due next, and what are the next grades? Well, here's a couple of them right up here. Chapter 2, Lesson 2 is going to be due tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Yes, change the time up a little bit. Some students said, hey, will you stop making it so that things are due immediately after school? And they made sense. They were polite when they talked to me about it. So sure, I told them I could do that. So let's talk about it real quick. Let's talk about, first of all, what you need to do. Your warm-up you need to do your warm-up. The new warm-up is up and ready. You need to watch this video, and you need to do the directions that I give you in class for it. So, or that I give you during the video. You need to follow those directions in the video. All right, so this right here, Chapter 2, Lesson 2, needs to be completed and submitted before 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. All right, so let's go over it real quick. You need to put my voice and my textbook somewhere, and you need to put this Google Docs somewhere on your screen where you can work on it. And you need to have my voice, but you need to be able to see the textbook that I'm going to show you right here. All right, we're in Lesson 2 right now. All right, and when we left off the other day, I think that I had just given you Carolus Linnaeus. So I either left off with Carolus Linnaeus or binomial nomenclature. I can't remember. So let's start with binomial nomenclature. So we'll make sure, even if I did say it last time, this will be the second time you heard it. So it won't hurt anything. So what we've been talking about is classification. And there was the guy that we talked about in the last video, Carolus Linnaeus. He recognized that there was a huge issue. And the issue was that we were naming certain creatures all these different common names, such as this cat right here. Okay. This cat right here is called a puma, mountain lion, Nittany lion, panther, wildcat, cougar. It has all these common names. This creature right here, okay, down here in the South, we call it a groundhog. Other parts of the United States call it a woodchuck. Okay. Far western part of the United States calls it a whistle pig. Okay. Well, what Carolus Linnaeus said was, it's okay to have these common names, but when we're talking about them as scientists and doctors, we need to have one name so that there's no confusion whatsoever. Because what is a wildcat to one person, okay, a tiger might be the same thing. So what he did was he came up with a system that is called binomial nomenclature. All right, so for number 6, binomial nomenclature. Okay, you need to write down this. Naming system Linnaeus used. The word binomial means two names. Hit pause and we'll talk about it. Okay, so you've typed in binomial nomenclature. Okay, so Linnaeus came up with this system, and basically this system that we're going to scientifically name things has two names. Some things have three names. Okay, but basically they have two names. For example, all right, this cat right here. All right, the cougar, the puma, whatever you want to call it, the mountain lion. Scientific name-wise, it is Felis concolor. That is its scientific name. Okay? This creature right here, okay, Felis marmorata. Okay? Marmorata means marbled. Okay? And look at its really, really cool fur. It has marbled fur. Okay? Felis marmorata is this one cat. Okay? There are no other creatures on earth that have been given the name Felis marmorata. It is just for the marbled cat. Those of you that love kitty cats at home, here is your kitty cat at home. Now, yours may look different, but all house cats have the scientific name of Felis domesticus. Okay? So, what is the first parts of these names? Felis, Felis, Felis. Okay? Notice that there's two parts to each one of these names. Well, the first part is Felis for all three of these. Okay? Well, the first part of a name is called its genus. And on your review sheet, genus is number 7. So what is a genus? It is a classification grouping that contains similar, closely related organisms. Hit pause and we'll talk about it. Okay, so what is a genus? Okay, whenever you come up on organisms and they share the same genus name, and this is the genus name, that means they are extremely closely related. Okay, in other words, the house cat, Felis marmorata, the Felis concolor, these cats they have a common ancestor somewhere. They are extremely closely related. Okay. Mr. Belovsky, are there other lines of cats that don't have Felis for the first part of their scientific name? Yes. Tigers and lions are called Panthera, something like that. Panther. Okay. So that means that they are a different branch in the cat world, in the cat family. Okay. But these three are extremely closely related because they have the same first part of their scientific name. Okay. So what is species? All right. Number 8, species. Species is a group of similar organisms that can mate with each other and produce offspring that can also mate and reproduce. Hit pause and we'll talk about it. All right, so the species names for these guys: concolor, marmorata, domesticus. Okay. So, can a Felis domesticus mate with Felis mamarata? No, they cannot. In order to mate and have babies, you've got to mate with things that have your own species name. So, this cat, this Felis domesticus, and another Felis domesticus, okay, if they were opposite sex, then they could mate and they could have babies. Okay. But Felis domesticus cannot mate with Felis mamarata. No, they cannot do it. Felis mamarata cannot mate with Felis concolor. The genes do not match up with, you cannot get a baby that way. Okay. It's just how it works. All right. So let's move on. All right. Once again, here's our Marmota monax, our whistle pig down here in the side. Groundhog. That's a groundhog right there. All right. There are different levels of classification. Now, we've talked about two of them. We've talked about genus, right? We've talked about species, and we've talked about genus. All right. And then there's family, orders, classes, phyla. There's kingdom and domains. Now, this is boring to look at. So let's go over here. Okay. This right here is showing you how to classify an owl. Okay. Now, down here, we start out with this owl, and its scientific name is Bubo virginianus. Obviously, these owls live somewhere in the Virginias somewhere. Okay. Now, that is the one species. That is its species name. Its genus name is Bubo. Okay. These two owls have the genus name Bubo. Now, here is another family or another grouping of owls, Strigidae. Strigiformes is an order for certain owls. Birds in general are in the class that is called aves. Okay. Chordata is the phylum, and basically this means these are creatures that have a spinal cord. Now, if you'll look up here, you'll see that there's a couple more. We keep dropping in numbers here. Okay. Kingdom, Animalia. These are all animals right here. Well, notice that plant, fungus, and protist are not located here. Well, they are in the group that is called Eukarya. There are three major domains. What are the three major domains? Domains are the biggest groups that you can find. Notice that this group right here, notice all these different life forms that are in there. There are three life forms. There's three groups every creature on earth fits into. Okay, what are the three groups? There is the domain called bacteria. There's the domain that is called archaea. And there's the domain that is called eukarya. Bacteria is pretty obvious. All the bacteria on earth fits under this category. There's an ancient type of simple, very simple life forms that are mainly single-celled creatures, and they're called archaea. And these are the things that live in those weird places that we talked about earlier. Archaea likes to live in places like swamps, in the water in swamps, in the ice in the Arctic. Cow intestines, steam vents in volcanoes. They live in just really weird places. Okay. And then the third group of creatures are called eukarya. Okay. Eukarya basically are eukaryotes. Oh, Coach, I remember us talking about eukaryotes, but I forgot what it means. We'll come back to it in just a second. Just remember the three groups of domains on Earth, the three domains: bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. All right. All the bacteria, all the archaea, and this is something else. Well, what is it? Okay, we'll come back to it. First, these two right here, bacteria and archaea, are called prokaryotes. On your review sheet, look at number 9. Or no, what number is that? 12. Right here, prokaryotes. So what do you write for prokaryotes? Okay, write this right here. A prokaryote, organisms whose cells lack a nucleus. In other words, their cells don't have a nucleus. Hit pause and I'll talk about it. Okay, bacteria and archaea are prokaryotes. Their cells do not have the nucleus in them. Okay, they are missing the nucleus. Why? Well, gosh, that's a good question. These organisms are super small. They're way smaller than single-celled organisms. So since they're so small, they don't have room for a nucleus. That's one reason. Another reason was just the way the good Lord made them. I can't go beyond that. They're just very, very small. Okay. Number 13, what is a nucleus? Okay, nucleus is a dense area in a cell that contains nucleic acids. Type that in, hit pause. Okay, you've typed in nucleus. A nucleus is a dense area in a cell that contains nucleic acids. If you'll remember, it's the part of the cell that tells the cell what to do. Okay, cell, it's time to get ready to divide. Okay, cell, it's time to move materials from one side of the cell to the other. It just tells the cell, it keeps it in line and tells its organelles what they need to do. All right, so prokaryotes, bacteria, well, we'll put a P for prokaryote. Archaea, prokaryote. Eukarya, okay, what is that? All right, well, the definition is here. All right, for eukaryote. Eukaryotes are organisms with cells that contain nuclei. In other words, their cell has a nucleus. Hit pause. Okay, the creatures on Earth that are eukaryotes are protists, fungus, mushroom, mold, mildew, plants, trees, bushes, so on and so forth, moss, animals, humans, dogs, cats, so on and so forth, like that. We are the ones, our cells have a nucleus in them, okay? And then down through here, it gives you a little bit more detail. Here's protists, here's fungi, here's plants, and right here is animal. All right. That's about, I'm trying to think, is there anything else I need to? And I think that's it. So what you need to do is you need to finish up this review sheet and you need to get it turned in, chapter 2, lesson 2. You need to get it turned in by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Trying to think. Seems like I'm forgetting something. But I guess that's it. So have a good evening. We're going to leave it right there. If you got any questions, send me an email. Hope you have a wonderful evening, and I will talk to you later on. Bye.